National Electrical Code Article 440 addresses air conditioning and refrigeration equipment. It provides specific requirements for the safe and proper installation of this type of equipment. Understanding Article 440 is crucial when dealing with refrigeration systems, especially when incorporating backup generators and addressing pre-existing wiring issues. Article 440 supplements or modifies the general requirements of the NEC, particularly Article 430, which concerns motors. Since refrigeration equipment relies heavily on motors, both articles are often relevant. When dealing with ICE machines currently plugged into outlets, it's essential to verify their overcurrent protection. The National Electrical Code specifies that each motor compressor shall be protected against overload. This protection can be provided by an overload relay that is responsive to motor current, or by a branch circuit short circuit and ground fault protective device. If using a standard outlet, ensure that the branch circuit breaker is appropriately sized for the ICE machine's nameplate amperage. If the nameplate is not visible or missing, consider using the locked rotor amps to determine the appropriate breaker size. However, be aware that this might result in nuisance tripping if the breaker is too close to the motor's starting current. When calculating the load for a new sub-panel feeding refrigeration equipment, follow these steps. Firstly, determine the nameplate rated load amps for each piece of equipment. The nameplate provides critical information, including voltage, amperage, and any other specific requirements. Secondly, for motor compressors, use the nameplate rated load amps, but also consider the locked rotor amps for overcurrent protection sizing. Article 440 provides guidance on using locked rotor amps for determining the correct breaker or fuse size. Thirdly, if the refrigeration equipment includes heaters, defrost cycles, or other loads, include those in the total calculation. Be sure to use the correct demand factors if the equipment does not operate simultaneously. Fourthly, for non-motor loads, such as lighting or receptacle outlets on the same circuit, add those to the total calculated load. Ensure that the wiring is properly sized to handle the total calculated load, taking into account voltage drop and ambient temperature corrections. Fifthly, size the sub-panel and feeder conductors according to the total calculated load, ensuring that the conductors are rated for at least 125% of the continuous load plus 100% of the non-continuous load. This is to account for the potential of the equipment running for extended periods. When integrating a backup generator, make sure the generator is adequately sized to handle the refrigeration load. Consider the inrush current of the motor compressors, as this can be significantly higher than the running current. The generator should have sufficient capacity to handle the starting load without experiencing excessive voltage drop. When dealing with old wiring, thoroughly inspect the existing circuits for any signs of damage or deterioration. Replace any damaged wiring and ensure that all connections are tight and properly insulated. It's often advisable to run new circuits from the sub-panel to the refrigeration equipment to ensure a reliable and safe installation. Grounding is crucial for refrigeration equipment to protect against electrical shock and prevent equipment damage. Make sure all equipment is properly grounded according to the National Electrical Code requirements. Use a dedicated equipment grounding conductor and ensure that it is properly connected to the building's grounding system. Overcurrent protection is vital to protect the refrigeration equipment and wiring from damage due to overloads or short circuits. Choose the appropriate type and size of overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, based on the equipment's nameplate ratings and the conductor's ampacity. Article 440 provides specific guidelines for sizing overcurrent protection devices for motor compressors. When dealing with multiple refrigeration units on a single circuit, use the largest motor load, plus the sum of the other motor loads at 100%. For the largest motor, you may need to size the overcurrent protection based on the locked rotor amps. Refer to the NEC tables. Remember that voltage drop can significantly impact the performance of refrigeration equipment. Size the conductors to minimize voltage drop, especially over long distances. The National Electrical Code recommends limiting voltage drop to no more than 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. Consider using larger conductors or increasing the voltage to reduce voltage drop. Ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified electricians who are familiar with the National Electrical Code and local electrical codes. Obtain the necessary permits and inspections to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. Proper documentation is essential for any electrical installation, including refrigeration equipment. Keep detailed records of all calculations, wiring diagrams, and equipment specifications. This documentation will be helpful for future maintenance and troubleshooting. Always refer to the latest edition of the National Electrical Code for the most up-to-date requirements. The NEC is revised every 3 years, so it's important to stay current with the latest changes. If there are any conflicts between the NEC and local codes, the local codes typically take precedence. It's essential to be familiar with both the National Electrical Code and the local electrical codes in the area where the work is being performed. Article 440 addresses several aspects of refrigeration equipment, including disconnect means, motor protection, and wiring methods. Disconnect means must be readily accessible and capable of disconnecting all ungrounded conductors. Motor protection must be provided to protect the motor from overloads and short circuits. Wiring methods must comply with the National Electrical Code requirements and be suitable for the environment in which the equipment is installed. When using flexible cords to connect refrigeration equipment, ensure that the cords are approved for the intended use and are properly sized for the load. Flexible cords should not be used as a substitute for permanent wiring. If you encounter any unusual or complex situations when working with refrigeration equipment, consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector. They can provide expert guidance and ensure that the installation meets all applicable requirements. Proper grounding is crucial to prevent electrical shock and protect the equipment from damage. Ensure that all metal parts of the refrigeration equipment are properly grounded to the building's grounding system. Grounding electrodes, such as ground rods or metal water pipes, must be properly installed and connected to the grounding system. Bonding is also important to ensure that all metal parts of the refrigeration equipment are at the same electrical potential. Bond all metal parts together using bonding jumpers or other approved methods. When working with refrigeration equipment, always follow safe work practices. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves, to energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use lockout/tagout procedures to prevent accidental energization of the circuit. If you are not qualified to work on electrical equipment, hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to prevent accidents. Article 440 covers the application of room air conditioners. These units may be cord and plug connected. These air conditioners must meet the requirements outlined in Article 440. In general, refrigeration equipment is designed for specific voltage levels. Ensure that the voltage supplied to the equipment matches the equipment's nameplate rating. If the voltage is too high or too low, it can damage the equipment. Use a voltage tester to verify the voltage before connecting the equipment. If the voltage is incorrect, contact the utility company or a qualified electrician to correct the problem. When working with refrigeration equipment, be aware of the potential for refrigerant leaks. Refrigerants can be harmful to the environment and can pose a health hazard. If you suspect a refrigerant leak, contact a qualified refrigeration technician to repair the leak. Do not attempt to repair the leak yourself. Refrigerant must be handled and disposed of properly to prevent environmental damage. Follow all applicable regulations regarding refrigerant handling and disposal. When installing refrigeration equipment, consider the location of the equipment. The equipment should be located in a well-ventilated area to prevent overheating. The equipment should also be protected from weather and physical damage. Do not install refrigeration equipment in areas where it could be exposed to flammable materials or explosive gases. Refrigeration equipment often requires regular maintenance to ensure proper operation. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for maintenance procedures. Inspect the equipment regularly for any signs of damage or wear. Replace any worn or damaged parts promptly. Keep the equipment clean and free of debris. A dirty condenser coil can reduce the efficiency of the equipment and increase energy consumption. Ensure that all electrical connections are tight and free of corrosion. Loose connections can cause overheating and electrical fires. By following these guidelines and consulting with qualified professionals, you can ensure that your refrigeration equipment is properly installed, maintained, and operated safely. Article 440 of the National Electrical Code provides the essential framework for achieving this goal. In summary, serving refrigeration equipment correctly involves several critical steps. Firstly, accurately calculating the load requirements by considering nameplate ratings and demand factors. Secondly, selecting appropriately sized conductors, overcurrent protection, and disconnect means. Thirdly, ensuring proper grounding and bonding to protect against electrical hazards. Fourthly, adhering to all applicable codes and standards, including NEC Article 440 and local electrical codes. Fifthly, regularly maintaining the equipment to ensure safe and efficient operation. By diligently following these steps, you can create a safe and reliable electrical system for your refrigeration equipment. Understanding Article 440 also involves being familiar with the definitions and terminology used in the article. For example, the term compressor refers to the electromechanical device that compresses the refrigerant in the refrigeration system. The term condenser refers to the heat exchanger that rejects heat from the refrigerant. The term evaporator refers to the heat exchanger that absorbs heat into the refrigerant. Being familiar with these terms will help you better understand the requirements of Article 440. Article 440 also provides specific requirements for the marking of refrigeration equipment. The equipment must be marked with the manufacturer's name, model number, rated voltage, rated current, and other relevant information. This information is essential for selecting the correct electrical components and ensuring proper installation. When installing refrigeration equipment, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide detailed information on how to install and operate the equipment safely and efficiently. If there are any conflicts between the manufacturer's instructions and the National Electrical Code, the National Electrical Code takes precedence. However, it's always a good idea to consult with a qualified electrician or inspector to resolve any conflicts. Article 440 also addresses the use of energy-efficient motors in refrigeration equipment. Energy-efficient motors can save energy and reduce operating costs. However, they may also have different starting characteristics than standard motors. When using energy-efficient motors, be sure to select the appropriate overcurrent protection and control devices. In addition to Article 440, other articles of the National Electrical Code may also be relevant to refrigeration equipment. For example, Article 300 covers general wiring methods. Article 310 covers conductors for general wiring. Article 430 covers motors and motor circuits. Article 250 covers grounding and bonding. Be familiar with all applicable articles of the National Electrical Code when working with refrigeration equipment. When replacing existing refrigeration equipment, be sure to properly dispose of the old equipment. Refrigerant must be recovered and recycled or disposed of properly. Contact a qualified refrigeration technician to perform the refrigerant recovery. Do not release refrigerant into the atmosphere. When installing new refrigeration equipment, consider the impact on the building's electrical system. The addition of refrigeration equipment can increase the building's electrical load. Be sure to evaluate the capacity of the existing electrical system and make any necessary upgrades to accommodate the new equipment. This may involve upgrading the service entrance, distribution panel, or branch circuits. When selecting refrigeration equipment, consider the energy efficiency of the equipment. Energy-efficient equipment can save energy and reduce operating costs. Look for equipment that is Energy Star certified. Energy Star certified equipment meets certain energy efficiency standards. When installing refrigeration equipment in a commercial building, consider the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA). The ADA requires that certain equipment be accessible to people with disabilities. Ensure that the refrigeration equipment is installed in a location that is accessible to people with disabilities. This may involve providing ramps, wider doorways, or accessible controls. When working with refrigeration equipment, be aware of the potential for carbon monoxide CO poisoning. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be produced by combustion appliances, such as gas-fired refrigerators. Ensure that the equipment is properly vented to the outside to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. Install carbon monoxide detectors in the building to warn occupants of dangerous levels of carbon monoxide. When installing refrigeration equipment in a residential building, consider the impact on the building's noise level. Refrigeration equipment can produce noise that can be disruptive to occupant. Select equipment that is designed to operate quietly. Install the equipment in a location where the noise will not be a nuisance to occupants. In addition to the National Electrical Code, other codes and standards may also apply to refrigeration equipment. For example, the International Mechanical Code IMC covers the installation and maintenance of mechanical systems, including refrigeration systems. The International Fuel Gas Code covers the installation and maintenance of fuel gas systems. Be familiar with all applicable codes and standards when working with refrigeration equipment. When installing refrigeration equipment, be sure to obtain the necessary permits from the local building department. The building department will review the plans and inspect the installation to ensure that it meets all applicable codes and standards. Failure to obtain the necessary permits can result in fines or other penalties. When working with refrigeration equipment, always prioritize safety. Electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to prevent accidents. Follow safe work practices, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, and energize circuits before working on electrical components. If you are not qualified to work on electrical equipment, hire a qualified electrician to perform the work.